regardless of what time zone you are joining us here. First of all, welcome to this, the first of a number of events that the IFE is extremely proud to be associated with and to help facilitate, particularly, as Philip said, with the recognition of the associated continuing professional development. CPD is something that's integral to the fire industry as it advances and professionalizes to ever greater degrees to meet the challenges of the modern world. And like I said, we're extremely proud within the institution of fire engineers to be able to play our part in helping professionals across all of the spectrum of fire engineering, from design right through to management and occupancy of buildings to actual operations when fires occur in the built environment and elsewhere. And then, of course, right through to the range of disciplines that serve to protect buildings and learn from events and things of that nature. So it's important that a professional body exists, and the IFE aspires to assist professionals across the spectrum. Today, of course, the focus is on operational tactics and initiatives within operational tactics. So there are, I think, a number of considerations here, and I hope that you can see the presentation and a few background slides that I have to support what I'm about to say by way of introduction. Supporting tactical initiatives for fire and rescue really is an increasingly complex agenda. The challenges, as I've mentioned, that are presented by the built environment in the modern world are evident to us all, and anybody who's involved in emergency response, I'm sure, is acutely aware that the world is in an ever increasing position of innovation in building design. Functionality and requirements of the use of buildings are ever increasing, and for fire protection to keep pace with this, and emergency response to keep pace with this is a significant undertaking, but it's not one that we should shirk. And I really genuinely support the focus of this first event today around supporting tactical initiatives and really getting to think about how we deal with operational responses to emergencies and fire events when they happen in buildings. So really just to sort of work through the few minutes that I have, really, and just to get your minds thinking a little bit about the presentations that you're going to listen to and the speakers who will engage with you later in this event. I just want to sort of get everyone's mind hopefully in a position where the thinking is where it needs to be to really engage with the speakers and the networking opportunities that follow. So this is really just high level stuff, really, just to get us thinking. But in terms of effective tactics, there are a number of enablers here, and this is not going to be an exhaustive list, but I think it's some considerations that hopefully will be helpful to bear in mind as you listen to the presentations that follow. First and foremost is knowledge and understanding, and as CEO of a professional body, the Institution of Fire Engineers, knowledge and understanding is key to everything, really. Without the underpinning knowledge and the continuing development of our understanding of the fire problem and the impact of fire, then we really can't really get to where we need to be in terms of continual improvement in every aspect, including emergency response. So knowledge and understanding is vital to this, and I think that goes without saying, as is experience, and that's why events like this I think are so valuable, whether in a virtual environment like we are now or when we can meet face to face. I think going forward, a combination of those two vehicles to be able to share experience and talk about our sort of global exposures to the complications of fires in buildings and dealing with them from a response point of view, sharing those experiences and building upon our own personal experience when we are actually exposed to command events or operational events in our careers is absolutely vital. Confidence, as with anything, is extremely important, and I put that in there deliberately because I think, in my experience, certainly knowledge and understanding coupled with experience is what breeds confidence, and I think that's just a further illustration of why the experience and knowledge base and understanding of the world around us is so important. We need to be confident when we're approaching some of these really physically demanding situations that obviously in many cases carry significant risk to firefighters. Training is obviously important to all of this, and I don't really need to emphasize the importance of operational training to support firefighting tactics. On the training ground, yes, it's a practice ground, and yes, it's familiarization, but what it also is the ground to perhaps trial and have a look at new ways of doing things, and just start thinking collectively about how we train to achieve the outcomes that we need. Underpinning all of this is procedural guidance, and of course that's traditionally been the way that fire operations are underpinned. I think all of us are living through a period of time when procedural guidance is an element of what we need, but it's certainly not the only component of effective firefighting tactics. Appropriate equipment, which is backed up by a real dialogue, I think, with suppliers, some of whom may be involved in sponsoring this event, and I'd encourage you to talk to suppliers about what your future needs might be, because it's only with that insight that I think the fire supply industry can provide and develop the type of operational equipment that's needed to support effective operational delivery and tactics. And design for firefighting is increasingly important. Various regimes around the world, certainly in the UK here, we have a number of codes and standards that support the consideration of firefighting facilities within buildings. And of course, that's not uncommon in countries around the world. It's not unique to any one part of the world, but the continued focus on design for firefighting as the more innovative building construction projects around the world come to fruition is extremely important, that we ensure that design for firefighting is maintained. Effective command and control. I think anybody who's got any experience in dealing with operational incidents will know that command and control processes and mechanisms are vital to be able to actually implement and resolve incidents. And of course, within that is the ever important decision-making capacity of operational commanders, and the decisions that are made within those command and control structures based on the knowledge and understanding. We can go through this loop in a circular process, really, based on confidence, training, etc. Those are some of the things that enable effective tactics, and I think hope it was just been useful to put those into your mind. Today's agenda is going to be around initiatives, and to be successful in generating new initiatives for firefighting tactics, we really need an international perspective, which we have today. And I encourage you to listen to all of the various sessions that will follow, because there is truly an international flavour to this, and learning from a global perspective is vital to how we want to try and move forward. And we need effective learning from events that have happened in the past, and you'll see within some of the presentations today how that learning can be captured and disseminated and shared and learnt from going forward. Design for firefighting I've mentioned, and I won't mention that again in any more detail, but to me that is one of the really essential components, that operational firefighting emergency response is not seen in isolation, but it's seen as part of the design component of the built environment going forwards. What does society expect of us? What's the moral duties that face firefighters, and the moral imperative sometimes? And certainly one of the presentations will examine that today in more detail. And I think that's something that all of us that have been involved in operational firefighting will understand very well. The balance of risk about moral imperative and societal expectations, particularly around life safety, is a complex sort of area of social science and expectations. And firefighters with knowledge and understanding, I've mentioned knowledge and understanding before. To give our firefighters knowledge and understanding combined with experience and continuous and ongoing training, with continuously developing support, which encompasses things like equipment and operational procedures and such like. That leads us to confident firefighters that facilitates what I would describe as intelligence-led firefighting. And that intelligence comes from many, many places to inform the tactics to resolve incidents. Some of that intelligence is knowledge and understanding, some is experience, some is hands-on intelligence at the incident scene. And there are various other examples of how the intelligence feeds come in. But being able to assimilate all of that and make informed decisions to what I would phrase perhaps as intelligence-led firefighting will lead us to effective operations, hopefully. Certainly, we would aim to reduce risk, particularly to firefighters during those operations, and of course, achieve what we're trying to achieve through all of these tactics for the deployment of our resources so that we can save lives, reduce the impact of fire on livelihoods and people's property. So that's it for me. I really hope that has perhaps set your mindsets in a place where what follows can be received to its full value. I'm leaving with that slide there to say, the Institution of Fire Engineers, IFE, it's an international body based in UK, but with branches around the world. We're very keen to increase our global footprint. So very simple message there: to increase your knowledge and understanding, perhaps have a look at the IFE website, and hopefully you may find some further information and opportunities for you there. So with that said, my sincere wish that you enjoy the remainder of the programme, and look forward to this first being successful, and the many that follow it will be also equally successful. So Philip, thank you very